Hey everybody, I want to talk to you about health food stores. And this is always a funny concept to me. Remember in like a traditional grocery store, we have, the health food section, right? It's usually like a couple little shelves, maybe a little display that they have there. That's always funny to me because if we call this the health food section, what the heck does that make the rest of the store, right? And that's a traditional kind of a grocery store. So now there's health food stores, right? There's whole stores that claim that they're doing healthy things, right? It's very misleading. If you guys understand seed oils, sugars, synthetics, isolates, processed food, ultra processed food, there's not many things, honestly, that we can say are truly healthy in these health food stores. And I want to talk to you first about supplements because hands down, the number one source of our nutrients should be whole food-based, real nutrition that came from the earth because we're getting thousands of phytonutrients by eating those whole foods as close to raw and as close to nature as physically possible. That's what creates more life in our body, okay? So Consumer Reports actually showed in 2015 in New York, I believe it was the Attorney General office, showed that 4 out of 5 herbal products that they were testing out of hundreds of products, you guys, 4 out of 5 of those products did not have the herb in the bottle that was listed on the label. 4 out of 5 products, 80% of the products they tested herbal-wise did not even have in the bottle what they said was on the label, okay? So I pulled a few things from a health food store, okay? I'm not gonna give you brand names and stuff. This is 99% of the supplements that are store-bought, online or wherever you're getting them. 99% of the supplements in the world I would not feed to my dog when you understand sourcing, processing, manufacturing, preservatives, and all those other types of things, okay? So there's a few trick words, first of all. Natural, right? What does natural actually mean? It's really just a marketing pitch. Natural, we could technically say that snake venom is natural. Do you want that in your body? I don't want that in my body. There's isolated vitamins that don't come with all their other cofactors and brothers and sisters that actually make that work well. For example, calcium. We all know that calcium alone, and most calcium, by the way, is calcium carbonate, which is ground up rocks, literally ground up stones. Now, if you were starving, would you go and eat rocks, right? Does that help our body get more minerals? Absolutely not. So calcium carbonate is horrible. It's an isolate, and it also needs the vitamin K, the magnesium, and a lot of other stuff to be processed in my body as calcium does. There's also synthetics. Literally most products out there are synthetically made in the laboratory, not from nature. They are a right-handed spin. In chemistry, we learn right-handed and left-handed spin. Non-real things are right-handed spins. It's toxic to the body. We need left-handed spins, and that comes from whole foods. That's just a chemistry thing. Once you understand how processing is, if I take spinach is really good for me, but if I process it, use acids and heat and all these other things to pull the nutrients out of it, well, I just damaged all the good nutrients that were good for me in that raw form of spinach. Storing of products is just as important. If I want to get that live, real food from nature into this bottle to have the same therapeutic effect as it did in nature, it's a very complex process from seed all the way to growth of that plant, sourcing what part of the plant is the most nutrient dense, to now processing it carefully, encapsulating it or turning it into a liquid, and then getting it into this bottle so it's as close to nature as possible. So storage of these items is just as important because enzymes are denatured at about 118 degrees Fahrenheit. That's not very hot. That's a hot day in Arizona, right? So 118 degrees Fahrenheit literally turns that live food into kind of a processed dead food because it denatures the enzymes which gave it life. So, and also which part of the plant are they sourcing from? Even that 20% of the herbs they tested, even if it was the actual plant in the bottle, what part of the plant was it? We know through lots of research and evidence that there's certain parts of the plant that are therapeutic and other parts that are basically garbage or the stem or whatever it is. It just doesn't add that therapeutic benefit to my body. So here's just 4 items I picked up at a health food store. This is very toxic. This rates very low on a app. It's basically a chemical app called EWG.org. This is a common toothpaste that looks healthy. It has tons of chemicals in it though, okay? Those chemicals affect your cellular health, okay? There's some vitamins here. This is a vitamin C. This is made mostly of calcium ascorbate. Okay, so ascorbic acid and calcium ascorbate are synthetic or isolated forms of vitamin C. These companies are getting smart. They know that we're catching on. What they're doing is they're now adding, fortifying, or enriching these now with some other kind of healthy things like rose hips, lemon, and stuff like that. But this is a synthetic isolated vitamin that is sold at health food stores that, again, I would not give my dog if you understand what the vitamin C complex is. Here's another one. This is a kid's chewable multivitamin. Looks pretty cool. Looks clean. When you start reading this label, it has all isolates, all synthetics. that your body doesn't understand. Again, this is like taking rocks or synthetics or isolates that are missing all the other cofactors that make that vitamin or mineral effective and nourishing in your body. So one more, we have a calcium product with vitamin D, right? Sounds really good. And there's so many chemicals in here. Titanium dioxide. So basically this is in the form of calcium carbonate. This is a rock, this is a stone. This has no place in your body. This is like eating kids' chalk, literally. If you want calcium carbonate, just go eat your kids' chalk. It's probably cheaper than this anyway, okay? So these products are essentially garbage. I would not feed them to my dog. They're processed, isolated. They'll probably sit on a shelf for 50 years. That's how dead they are. And we source real, live, enzyme-rich nutrients. That's what your body understands, guys. So 99% of them on the market, what's on the market, I wouldn't feed my dog. That study that was out of New York on herbs, 4 out of 5 products are not even containing in the bottle what they say is on the label.